Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here with,
Chris.
and I'm Owen Finch. You should know who we are by now because, we've been on this channel together. Can you believe it, by the way? It's coming on to 5 years that we've known each other pretty soon.
That's I don't even know how to respond to that.
It doesn't even feel like we've known each other for like 5 years.
No, it doesn't.
So, um, we're gonna talk about everything going on with WWE. We did this same video for NWA and AEW. We're gonna do the same thing for WWE. We put off this video because this is gonna take a while. Because one of the things that sucks about WWE is there's a lot of stuff to talk about. With NWA and AEW, there's like only 2 shows that happen, and then that's it really. Like,
Because we
um,
haven't done a Raw and SmackDown review in like feels like fucking 5 months.
yep, and we'll get into that. But first, before we even do any of that, um, we're gonna like just talk about some 2019 stuff. WWE did like year-end awards and just showed best moments of 2019. So I want to go through those real quick, and then we can kind of give like our little spin on them. Um, we're gonna start with backstage because they did some year-end awards. Let's talk about backstage real quick because we really haven't talked about that as terms of a show. Um, really yet. Have you seen any backstage episodes or anything like that? Or
I've seen bits and pieces of it because I'm not staying up until
yeah.
midnight. But I've seen like bits and pieces of it, like watch segments that I want to watch and stuff.
So I like it, but don't like. I'm very mixed on it. What I like about it is, it gives WWE that like sports feel kind of thing, where it basically it's like the NFL panel post things that they do, their shows and such. But I'm also really confused about it because this is basic. I mean, kayfabe's been dead for years. We've known that, but this is
Yeah,
basically like breaking kayfabe in a way that they really haven't broken kayfabe before by basically say, the wrestlers and them themselves like talking about stuff like saying I think they're gonna have like a nice heel turn, and like they have Ryan Satin like report news, and some of the news like they don't that gets reported as like when someone signs a contract now and stuff like that. um One of the things I didn't like about it was it gave away, they used that show to give away John Morrison signing a contract, which I really was not a fan of at all. Because it ruined the surprise of John Morrison's return.
yeah,
um
did big time.
you know and I wonder how like Dave Meltzer and all these other wrestling news sites feel about this, because WWE now doesn't really feed in them any news sites because that's what this show's supposed to be for now. Because that's how Meltzer now and stuff is getting their news pretty much, is from this show. Um,
Which I think
but
they wanted that to begin with
yeah,
because he would like Meltzer goes out and reports everything. He
yeah.
doesn't want like people getting the information from Meltzer. You rather people get it from Satin instead.
The only thing they don't report is negative stuff, like the whole AC8 situation wasn't reported. And
I'm
anything
kind
else.
of happy they didn't talk about that though. At
Yeah,
the same
yeah. But they don't report like like the Lars Sullivan situation didn't get reported.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
What a
Um,
clusterfuck that is.
maybe we'll talk about that later on in the show. But they report when people sign new deals, but they're not reporting like, for example, right now like Luke Harper just they're not reporting like him leaving and stuff like that. Um,
Only
which
positive.
I can I can understand that, but I feel like they should also talk about negative stuff in a sense, because negativity is what people want to see. Um, and I feel like somebody leaving really shouldn't be that big of a deal. But also, I can understand that. You can definitely see though that this is a show that's not run by WWE. It's mainly run by Fox. Um, because I have a feeling the stuff that they say like would not get said if WWE was the one running this show.
They
Um,
also wouldn't be disclosing contract information either.
yeah, you could also see like a little bit though the difference when CM Punk is on, because you could definitely tell like he's not filtered at all.
Oh
um,
yeah, he definitely isn't fucking. He can say whatever he wants.
yeah, but like Paige and Booker T, you know, they're not filtered, but obviously since they're under contract with WWE, they're trying to be very careful of what they
Oh, the
say.
company line, basically.
Which I kind of like, because CM Punk like tries to egg him on to say something. When he was talking about that Roman Reigns segment where they had that dog come out, he was trying to goat Paige into saying, "Wasn't that crap?" And obviously Paige is like, "It's pretty great, actually." Um,
He's
so that's
really good at that show.
yeah. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon because I think he's having a lot of fun doing this show.
We'll
But
see.
yeah, huh?
I think this gets his foot in the door into WWE
I know, yeah.
in some way, shape, or form.
The thing is too, I could say like, well, if he does resign with WWE, I still think he's not gonna give a crap. Pretty much, he's still gonna act this way, even if he signed with WWE.
He never did anyway.
Yeah.
He was given unprecedented control over many things.
Yep. All right, so they did some UN awards though recently, and I want to go through those. Since we didn't get to do one because time got away from us. So you can tell me if you agree or don't agree with the winners and such. So we have Moment of the Year. The nominees were Becky Lynch, Becky 2 belts at WrestleMania 35 when she won the both championships, the SmackDown and Raw in the main event of WrestleMania. Kofi Mania at WrestleMania 35, him winning the title at WrestleMania. Natalia versus Lacey Evans at the first ever women's match at Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel 2. You know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm just not gonna vote for that. I don't care. Like, it's cool stuff, but Saudi Arabia automatically doesn't have my vote. So, and then
should have your vote. Saudi Arabia #1.
Braun Strowman tackling Bobby Lashley through the LED wall from the Raw on January 1st, 2019. The one that actually, what do you think won? If you had to guess.
Kofi Mania.
Yep.
I already forgot about that Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman thing.
Yeah. But yeah, Kofi Mania won, which made sense because that was probably the best moment out of these four.
Yeah.
And then we have Women's Tag Team of the Year. And after each a winner, they did like a little promo afterwards, but I'm not going to discuss it because it really isn't that important. But we had Women's Tag Team of the Year. We had the Iconics, the Boston Hug Connection, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and the Kabuki Warriors. Obviously, these were going to get nominated because they didn't do any NXT themed ones, but these are the only 4 tag teams the main roster has. So
pretty much,
the Kabuki Warriors won. So I really don't think that's much of a surprise, really. There.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Because the Boston Hug Connection really won a team all year. The Iconics really didn't do shit this year. And Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross really are just a thrown together team. So.
And the Iconics were like tag team champions early in the year too.
Yep. Then we have Men's Tag Team of the Year. We had Revival, The New Day, the Viking Raiders, and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. The New Day ended up winning that. I don't know which combination of the New Day won.
Surprise!
I mean, really, they were the best booked team of the year. Gallows and Anderson pretty much weren't really booked that strongly this year, except a little after they re-signed and stuff. But then that was basically it. The Revival, even though they were champions that all year, they were booked pretty badly this year. And the Viking Raiders have been booked fine, but
I mean, they've been pushed, so I mean, like it's not like it. And then it's still in the midst of it too, so
yeah. And then we had Breakthrough Superstars of the Year. We had Ricochet, the Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, and Nikki Cross. The Street Profits actually won that, which personally, I don't really agree with that. I think Ricochet should have won that award because I think he did more than the Street Profits.
Really? The Street Profits?
Yeah, I think Ricochet did more than the Street Profits.
They've wrestled like 4 times.
That's what I'm saying. Like Ricochet won
Ricochet, who's been up on the main roster for like 5 months now.
Yeah, so there you go. And then we had Female Superstar of the Year. We had Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and Ronda Rousey nominated. Becky Lynch won that one. That makes obviously the complete sense. So there you go. I mean, I don't really think that
makes sense.
I don't really think anyone like Charlotte Flair really didn't do that much this year, other than like you
Be a
know,
part of that feud.
and then Bailey really didn't do that much. Bailey really wasn't all that good this year, honestly. I'm just being honest. And then Ronda Rousey, I could see her being in contention, but like she really wasn't around really much after WrestleMania. So
Yeah.
And then we had male superstar of the year. We had The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, and Kofi Kingston. Bray Wyatt won. I understand it, but I don't really think that he should have won it. I think Kofi should have won it because I think overall, if we're looking at like the year, I think Kofi had a little bit of a better year than Bray Wyatt. I know his character. I know his character got revamped and stuff, but I think you know, with Kofi Mania, Kofi was the champion all year long. I feel like too, if the Hell in a Cell debacle didn't happen, maybe Bray Wyatt would win it. But the Hell in a Cell thing really makes it not a win for me. So,
especially because Bray went into like a before his Fiend character was like barely even around.
Yeah.
Like Matt Hardy went down with his injury.
Yep.
Whereas he got his like spine and tailbone corrected, and like disappeared. He was just gone for months and months and months.
He didn't really resurface until like May, so I don't agree with that at all, honestly.
Kofi.
And then the bump. That show I like. I don't know why, but I really like the bump.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's kind of like, I feel like they're not really filtered either. It's just kind of like a nice like show. It's kind of like us where we talk about stuff, but obviously they know the thing I don't like. I feel like they need to start doing it. I know like it doesn't but they need to say stuff they don't like about. I mean, I feel like that's what I like about backstage. The bump doesn't really do that because if you just love everything, then it makes no sense. You can't love every little thing that like that something. Not just wrestling, but if that something does, because if there's nothing wrong with it, then it just doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
But they said their favorite moments. There were certain people too I love on the bump. I like Caleb Braxton on the show. This Evan T Mac I think is great on the show. I think that's his name. It's and then Matt Camp is pretty good. So there you go. Some of the moments that they said, Ryan Popola said his favorite moment was that arrest angle they did with Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. I thought that was a good moment. I don't think it was like one of the best moments this year, but like I said, it's personal opinion.
It was a top moment for sure.
Kofi Mania basically was pretty much everywhere in there. Like, people said John Cena showing up as the Doctor of Thugonomics at WrestleMania this year.
That's pretty cool.
And woman main event in WrestleMania, which I like that moment, but to me, I don't really remember it that well, honestly. Mainly because I've been watching like AEW, NWA, and like NXT now just make this like changes and such that it really If it was any other year, that if it would have been last year, I would have probably said that. But I've been watching so much other wrestling and stuff lately, I don't really remember. Honestly, I feel like the problem with it too is the match itself kind of really it's fine, but it's really not all that memorable and such. So
yeah, I mean
it's good that woman main event in WrestleMania, but it's kind of like I just don't remember it honestly. But other things that like they did for WWE, we found out some. Let me see if I can. We found out some little hidden facts that I want to talk about. Let's hope I have it here. That like no one really knew. So this is in 2019 we found out some nice stats, and you can Roman Reigns ended 2019 with only one title opportunity all year, which I think is significant, and it was apparently a DQ victory over Shinsuke Nakamura with his Intercontinental title on the line on SmackDown, which I think is kind of unique because it's like you would think Roman Reigns obviously would get more title opportunities, but that was the only one he had all year, so that's really unique.
It is. Yeah.
We had a lot of inaugural champions crowned this year, with the Grizzled Young Veterans becoming the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, the Boston Hug Connection winning the first Women's Tag Team Champions, and Titus O'Neil becoming the first 24/7 champion. So I think it was like the most years where we had first ever champions crowned. This was the only year that John Cena didn't have like a pay-per-view match at all this year. since 2000. No, I don't even know. Like, I think it's basically he's debuted in the like not
Yeah.
um. So that was that. I thought that was unique. Um, Drew McIntyre was the only superstar to have a match on the first Raw of the year and then the last Raw of the year, which I thought was kind of unique. Um, and because it says also that Sasha Banks and Baron Corbin had a match on the first Raw and the final SmackDown of 2009, while Andrade had a match on the first SmackDown and the final Raw. But Drew McIntyre is like the only one to have one on Raw, the first actual like Raw and the last Raw, which I thought was kind of cool. Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio competed the men's Grand Slam champions this year. With Rey Mysterio winning the U.S. title this year and Kofi winning the WWE title. But you could make the argument that Rey Mysterio, I think, already had it this year, pretty much. I mean, he didn't win the U.S. title, but I feel like because Rey was the cruiserweight champion, he should have already had it. So
yeah,
I just think that I feel like the way they do the Grand Slam champion system is kind of broken because they think that Shawn Michaels was the first one, but I really think it was Bret Hart because they added the European Championship and Bret Hart. When Shawn Michaels won that, they said he was the first one, but Bret had already won every championship like before the European title was even introduced.
Yeah, they basically just added that.
Yeah, so I just think they kind of pick and choose how they decide the Grand Slam champions. And then I think it was one of those things where they didn't really realize they were going to do it, and it was just kind of like, okay, let's just do it. And then between the Raw Women's Champion, the SmackDown Women's Champion, the Tag Team Champions, the Women's Champion in the UK, and the 24/7 titles, a total of 21 women reigned as champions in WWE this year. The two women with the 3 different title reigns in 2019 were Bayley and Charlotte Flair. No surprise there.
I know, right?
I mean, that's also very selective, too, how they do the Grand Slam champions for the women. Because they're saying Bayley was the first one because she held the tag team titles. But again, it really was Charlotte Flair because she had been a Grand Slam champion and then decided, nah, now that we have the tag titles, you're not a Grand... You can't do that. You can't do that. So, I feel like this won't surprise you when I say this record. In 2019, R-Truth was a champion like more times than anyone this year. He was champion 25 times this year with his US and 24/7 titles. That probably doesn't really surprise you at all, though. So
it does.
Obviously, we'll get into that, but this was the only the Big Show's last pay-per-view match was in 2017 when he faced this was the only year since 2007 that Big Show didn't show up at all and compete in a match. But obviously, we'll get into that later. And then that's it for statistics. So yeah, some surprising, some not surprising statistics. And then WWE posted their top 25 matches on WWE.com. So I'll just go over that real quick. We can say what ones we agree with, what ones we don't agree with. So we had from Extreme Rules, Roman Reigns and The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre was number 25. Number 24 was Rey Mysterio versus Cesaro from Raw, May 13th. Number 23 was from Extreme Rules, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley in the Last Man Standing match. Number 22 was from Raw, August 12th. In 2019, Cedric Alexander versus Drew McIntyre. Number 21 was from NXT, September 25th, Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic. Number 20 was from SmackDown, August 13th, Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy. Number 19 was for the NXT North American Championship of NXT TakeOver New York. The Velveteen Dream defended his championship against Matt Riddle. Number 18 was the Elimination Chamber match for the women's tag titles, so the women's Elimination Chamber match. Number 17 was from NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Walter defending against Tyler Bate. Number 16 was the Extreme Rules from Extreme Rules, the Triple Threat match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The new Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan versus Heavy Machinery versus Xavier Woods and Big E. Number 15 was from NXT TakeOver Phoenix for the NXT North American Championship. Ricochet defending against Johnny Gargano. Number 14 was the Survivor Series, the men's Survivor Series match. The one, the 5-on-5-on-5 match.
Yeah.
From Fastlane was the triple threat match for the WWE title. The new Daniel Bryan defended against Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali. Number 12 was from Survivor Series NXT Championship match. Adam Cole defended against Pete Dunne. Number 11 was the 2 out of 3 Falls match from SmackDown January 22nd. Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. And now we're at the top 10. Number 10 was from SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar defended against Seth Rollins. Number 9 was the WrestleMania 35 winner-take-all match. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Number 8 was the Elimination Chamber match, the men's chamber match, where Kofi nearly won the championship. Number 7 was from NXT TakeOver New York, the United Kingdom Championship match, Pete Dunne defending against Walter. Number 6 was from Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Number 5, top 5 now, we have from the Royal Rumble for the Raw Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey defending against Sasha Banks. Number 4 was for Money in the Bank, the Universal Championship match, Seth Rollins defending against AJ Styles. Number 3, top 3 now, was from NXT TakeOver New York, the 2 out of 3 Falls match for the NXT Championship, Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. This is when Gargano won the championship.
Yep.
Number 2 is from Hell in a Cell, the Hell in a Cell match for the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch defending against Sasha Banks. And then number 1 is the WWE Championship match from WrestleMania 35, the new Daniel Bryan defending against Kofi Kingston. So obviously I disagree with some of the choices and where stuff is on here. I really do like Kofi versus Bryan for the WWE title, but I don't think it's number 1. It's probably top 3, but I think Gargano versus Cole just overall is a better match. Obviously I think Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate versus Walter. While I don't like the show NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, it definitely deserves to be in the top 10 because that really is an awesome match for the championship. Let's see.
A lot of shit.
I know, I'm just going through it again. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match does not deserve to be in top 10. That just because of that finish alone of Brock Lesnar winning. So, I don't really think Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens versus Mustafa Ali from Fastlane deserves to be in there because they forget. No one really liked that match really because Kofi wasn't in it. So,
it was good though, but it wasn't the best.
I wouldn't say while Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy was a great match, I wouldn't really say it deserves to be in the top 25 matches. Just my opinion. I don't know where the War Games matches are. Where are those? Because those are
invisible.
Keith Lee versus Dijakovic. I like the one they chose, but I wouldn't have put that. I feel like the match they had the second time before they went on USA Network deserves to be there. Some NXT matches obviously I could go through for days that should be there, like Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole for the title. And stuff like that, but I could basically
think a million things you could talk about.
I know. I definitely agree, and I don't really think Becky versus Sasha Banks is top 5, number 2, not even top 5 for me. Neither is Wanda.
For me, that's number 30.
Yeah, Wanda versus Sasha. I'd have to watch the match again, but I don't really think it deserves to be in top 5.
Definitely not.
The top 3 though, Gargano versus Cole and Kofi versus Bryan definitely deserve to be in the top 5, top 3-ish. Those are awesome.
For me, I agree with that. Kofi being number 1, just because it was a massive moment in WWE history. And
then obviously, I'm trying to see. I feel like I don't know if that triple threat tag match deserves to be, on the list. That's really all I can really come up with. Like Rey Mysterio versus Cesaro at number 24. Like I don't even remember that match. So it's like
they had a match.
Yeah. And to me, it was just like more Cesaro just being used like crap. So it's like, why should I even like get invested into that match? So same thing with Cedric Alexander versus Drew McIntyre. Like, what is that doing there? Like, but
It's
that's
just
it.
there.
Yeah. But recently NXT UK had like a best of two. They showed the NXT UK Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm. They showed the women's title match from Cardiff because apparently they thought that was the best match, but I hate that match, so whatever. They showed Piper Niven's debut. They showed Travis Banks like in that Falls Count Anywhere match diving off like the crowd. The Grizzly Dead veterans cutting a promo on everyone in the Download Festival, which was great. They showed some the first NXT UK tag title match between Grizzly Dunn veterans and Mustache Mountain from Blackpool. That's an awesome match. They tried to say like the Cardiff match was awesome, but that's just not.
Not even close.
They showed like Joe Coffey and Dave Mastiff's feud they had.
Oh, that was terrible.
Not the match, but they didn't show the match from Cardiff, but they showed like the match they had on UK. That wasn't too bad. They showed Never Bet against the Ace when he defeated Dave Mastiff. They showed Ilya Dragunov versus Cesaro, which was great. Trent Seven versus Noam Dar, which was a really good match. They showed that contract sign that Joe Coffey and Pete Dunne had when Joe Coffey powerbombed him through the table. They showed Walter doing that like chop on Jack Starz. I don't know if you remember that, like with Jack Starz, he got like all from it. And I thought it was funny because Nigel and Tom Phillips were hosting it, and Tom Phillips was talking about how hard it was to watch. And then Nigel said, maybe it's time for you to go to chop school. And then they shut the camera off, and it's implied that Nigel just chopped the chest of Tom Phillips, which was awesome. And then it showed the UK Championship match between Pete Dunne and Walter, and that's it. They didn't show Tyler Bate versus Walter because I guess that wasn't good enough for them. So, and then 205 Live had a best of. They spent 2 weeks doing it. They showed the Cruiserweight Championship match from the Royal Rumble, with the 4-way match with Buddy Murphy, Hideo Itami, Akira Tozawa, and Kalisto. And so the Cruiserweight Championship match from Elimination Chamber between Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa.
Bud Murphy.
Cruiserweight Championship match from WrestleMania 35 between Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese. And then the No DQ match from 205 Live on May 7th, 2019, Akira Tozawa versus Mike Kanellis. Which I guess they're trying. I don't think Mike Kanellis thinks that's a great match. He was like, "Yeah, I'm out of here, guys. See ya." And then they showed more best ofs. 205 from 205 Live, January 16th, 2019, Chad Gable versus Jack Gallagher. Then from 205 Live, January 30th, Drake Maverick versus Mike Kanellis in a no DQ match. Then from 205 Live, November 1st, Leo Rush versus Raul Mendoza. And then the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match from December 11th, when Angel Garza won it from Leo Rush. And then that's it. And that's all the best stuff. One more thing, NXT had their year-end awards. So for this one, I did a video on this recently, so just go watch it to know all the nominations. I'm just going to say who won. They showed like all the best moments in an opening video package, which was cool. Tag Team of the Year was won by Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Obviously, that makes sense. You can tell me if you disagree with any of them.
I disagree with all of them.
Male Competitor of the Year was won by Adam Cole.
I don't like that.
What do you think should have won it?
Raul Mendoza.
Oh, okay. Female Competitor of the Year was Shayna Baszler. That makes sense.
Maybe.
Who should have won that one?
Me.
You're not a female, though, so that's a problem.
Taynara Conti.
Who do you think should have won Tag Team of the Year while we're here?
Taynara Conti and Taynara Conti.
So two of the same person and that's in a tag team together?
Yeah.
Then it had Rivalry of the Year. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano won that.
Beautiful.
What do you think should have won that one?
Them.
Okay. So Future Star of the Year was won by Dakota Kai. Who do you think should have won that one?
Not Dakota Kai.
Who do you think should have won?
Tegan Knox.
Sure. NXT TakeOver of the Year was won by War Games. That's the one I don't agree with. I thought New York was a better show.
It's really tough to like pick between all of those because they're all so good.
Except UK TakeOver Cardiff because that was a nomination too.
Well, it's tough to pick an NXT show, not UK because UK blows. Just regular old NXT. You can't.
Well, Blackpool was an awesome show. So.
They made a mistake.
Breakout
the titles on Mustache Mountain and having British Strong Style have all three titles, or having the tag and United Kingdom championships.
Then we had
they're going to leave the brand, which they should do anyway, because it's a terrible brand.
Then we had the Breakout Star of the Year. It was won by Keith Lee. I mean, that makes sense.
Keith Lee.
Match of the Year was won by Gargano versus Cole from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And
is that the 2 out of 3 falls match, or is that the one where he lost the title again, Gargano?
The 2 out of 3 falls match.
I like that one. I like them both, but I think that one's better. In my opinion, I like that one better.
And then the overall competitor of the year was won by Adam Cole. So Undisputed Era just dominated the year-end award show this year. So
as they should have.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
One of the best stables in wrestling.
Probably, yeah. All right, so now we're gonna actually start to talk about some actual shows that actually happened recently. We're gonna start by you guys are gonna be surprised, but I actually watched Raw and SmackDown this week.
Oh, look at that,
huh? I thought it was a new decade. I wanted to see if they were gonna do something big. It was originally gonna be a 1-week thing, but let's get into that. So I will say there's some things I'm confused about, but some of it could be because I haven't watched a full SmackDown since the NXT invaded, but that really doesn't count. I mean, that counts, but doesn't count at the same time.
Did you watch it like full through, like all the way through, or did you skip past it?
I watched Raw and SmackDown like all the way through. Okay. Obviously, I skipped through commercials, but other than that.
Yeah, but other than that, yeah. So you watched okay.
Yeah. But the last SmackDown I watched all the way through was the NXT when NXT invaded on November 1st. The last Raw I watched all the way through was the season premiere because I didn't watch all the way through the draft because I skipped some things. We'll just go through it. We're not gonna go into in depth about it.
Just if you know, just watch it. Just watch the shows, you'll know.
So this is like something so this women's triple threat tag really didn't work for me because I just think the Boston Hug connection with that just really doesn't work for me. Like Sasha Banks as a heel for some reason isn't really working for me on the main roster. I think it's because they're trying to make it seem like she was denied all these opportunities, but I'm just kind of thinking if that was the case. If that was the case, they wouldn't have tried as hard to keep you and stuff like that. And you came to the main roster and was given all of these first ever matches, and it's she's just trying to make. I feel like too, it's just too real for me because Sasha Banks actually feels this way, so it's And like I said, I'm mad at Sasha Banks because she had an opportunity to really go make herself a better wrestler by going to All Elite Wrestling. Even NWA, and you just ruined it. So,
it was her choice. I think she just wanted to stay.
I just think she was just acting like a spoiled brat because she wasn't getting the opportunities that she didn't want, and I just loved how WWE shut her up. They just gave her a Raw Women's Championship match, and basically she re-signed because she got tricked into thinking life
5 years. There you go.
Yep.
Here's your championship match. Oh, wait a minute, it's getting disqualification. Never mind.
And then you're gonna lose a Hell in a Cell and just be Bayley's sidekick, pretty much.
Best friend, her best friend. Speaking of Bailey, that shitty gimmick.
Yeah.
I can't rant and rave enough about how much I fucking hate this gimmick. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same. If you ever watched a heel female wrestler in professional wrestling, that's it. It's what it is. There's nothing changes. Every fucking heel in WWE, and if it's a female, it's the same fucking thing every week.
I'll tell you a funny story. I forgot Bailey had a new theme song and stuff because I hadn't watched really her since Survivor Series, and I forgot. So
I mean, I could have done without the change of theme song to fucking even more generic than Big Cass. I didn't think that was possible. But
yeah.
they went to new levels of generic. They even be Big Cass's theme song. Both of them. Both the original generic bland theme song and the second generic bland theme song. They somehow beat that. I don't know how they managed to do that, but they did.
But yeah, it gets even better. You think that's bad. Then for some reason now, Lacey Evans is a babyface, even though there's nothing different really about her as a babyface than a heel, and it's just out of nowhere.
That one to me it's random. I don't know. It's her demeanor screams heel. Yeah. But it's weird because she like stops and like pauses for like the baby face pop. Like every time she like makes an insult, and it's like, all right, like 4 people are cheering for you right now. Like there's like 17,000 people in the stands, and about 10 people cheering for you.
Dana Brooke, for some reason, I mean, we know the reason Dana Brooke right now is getting a push is because her and Batista possibly are going to have a date. So obviously they want to push her right now. So,
see Batista's jobber girlfriend suddenly not jobber anymore.
And then Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross's thing, I guess, is fine.
It's okay. I mean, I have no problems with that.
They didn't really have any business in that triple threat tag, and then Lacey Evans doesn't even, hits the woman's right on Sasha Banks, and then Dana Brooke hits a swanton bomb, which you could totally tell was like really stiff.
That was extremely stiff. Look at that fucking hurt. Like that. That was awful.
There you go. They won. Whatever. Now it's leading to a match tonight, if you're watching this on Friday, between Lacey Evans and Sasha Banks. Which doesn't make any sense, because Dana Brooke was the one that beat her in the match, so that's just weird.
Just give it to Lacey Evans.
Then,
who cares?
Everyone, you may call me crazy, but I really like this Otis-Mandy Rose feud, or whatever this storyline is. It's great. I think it's awesome. I think mainly because I like the fact that they're finally going with it, because on Instagram and stuff, it's been like a real thing where like Otis will just like occasionally write like an Instagram post like with Mandy Rose and just being a creep. So I like the fact that they're actually like going with it.
Yeah, I like that too.
I could go without Dolph Ziggler being in it, because you know how I feel about Dolph Ziggler. Get him out of my wrestling.
I mean, he serves a purpose. They gotta have a heel in this feud.
Put somebody else other than Dolph Ziggler in it. But like,
it's not meant to be like a main event storyline. So I don't have.
He's not even worthy. Yeah, that's what he's worthy of. The show main event. Put him on there.
Put some respect on Dolph Ziggler's name. That veteran.
Never.
He's a veteran of the professional wrestling industry.
But Mandy Rose, Otis, I loved how Otis was upset with her because, the fruit case that Otis's mom made for her got stalked on, so he's upset with her. And then, in his match with Drew Gulak, which that's one of them I'm not a fan of. I really don't think like Gulak should have made the move to SmackDown, because they basically just moved him just so they can job him out. He's back to his PowerPoint gimmick. I'm not a fan of that.
Good, he should be jobbed out every week.
I just think like Gulak would have been just better off like being in NXT.
A jobber? Yep.
Fighting for the championship.
Cruiserweight for the jobber championship. Yep. Totally agree.
But it's leading to like either a breakup of Fire and Desire, which I don't know if that's the best idea to do that, because I just don't believe Sonya Deville would probably just like be never seen again. We'll be probably like calling the police, wondering what happened to Sonya Deville, because she'll be missing.
What happened to Sonya?
And then I just don't really think Mandy Rose is she can really stand on her own when it comes to like wrestling and stuff. I think the tag team really complements them, but whatever. What do you
Get
think of
that
this?
sexy lady a singles push.
What do you think of this Otis Mandy Rose storyline?
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Because Otis and Mandy, not Sonya Deville, and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah.
All right, so
yeah.
this could be one of those things I'm confused about because I haven't watched the show in so long. So I guess Elias is a face now. I don't know because he's having like a live concert, but now it's like one like if you actually went to a concert, if he like points to the crowd and such to get a reaction. Very confused about this, but like I said, could be one of those things I haven't watched. It just seems like he just turned face out of nowhere, so I'm not really.
He did. He literally did.
I just really confused. So I was just really confused.
He just came back one day, and then he was just randomly faced for no reason.
There you go. It's typical WWE booking now, where people just randomly turn for no reason. Then we saw a conversation backstage between the Revival and Shorty G. I've already commented on what I think of the Shorty G situation. I'm not a fan of it, so it makes no sense.
Shit, pal.
It makes no sense that the Revival are making short jokes at him because they're not about the same size. Like,
they're big statured men.
And then the Shorty G is like, I've learned to accept who I am. I rise above short or whatever he says now. And then
he's the new John Cena. He's rise above short.
Yep.
Rise above height.
And then he beats Dash Wilder with the ankle lock in like less than 5 minutes. I mean, I could be not a fan of it, but the Revival aren't gonna be there much longer anyway. So whatever. Like, I don't think no matter what they're gonna if the Revival we sign, I'm gonna. You know what I'll do with the Revival we sign? I'll take my webcam and break it over my knee or something. I don't know.
How would people be able to see that then?
Then Shorty G gets is being beaten down. Then Sheamus runs out, who's back to his old look now. Sheamus is back. I will say I'm happy Sheamus is back. You know, we thought he was going to be out of wrestling forever. So I'm happy that he was able to overcome that.
He's in ridiculous shape.
Yeah. And then we think he's going to go after the Revival. They basically pulled what they did with the Dolph Ziggler, Daniel Bryan thing years ago when he turned heel, and they just kind of copied and pasted it here. He went after the Revival, they ran away, and then he kicked Shorty G. So we're going to get some killer matches. I get it out of the Sheamus Shorty G program, but I think I don't really want to see that program because I know where that program's leading to. It's just going to lead to Sheamus making a ton of short jokes at Shorty G, and I'm just not interested in that. So
hell yeah.
What about you? What do you think of this Sheamus Shorty G program?
I agree that it's going to lead to some awesome matches, and I can't wait to hear all the short jokes.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Be the best fucking thing ever. Because apparently Vince McMahon loves short people.
Yeah.
He loves making short jokes because it's good shit, pal.
Not a fan of this Braun Strowman Shinsuke Nakamura feud we're about to get. He just beat Cesaro, and then Nakamura hit the Kinshasa. I just think, like, wow, it's so sad not Braun Strowman's fighting for the Intercontinental Championship now. Like, that just shouldn't be a thing. So, yeah, not a fan of that at all. So you're not going to change my mind.
I will.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think of Braun Strowman now fighting for the Intercontinental Championship?
It's random as hell.
Yeah.
Don't even care about it.
Then we get to like the main thing that's been going on SmackDown though recently. So we'll start with earlier in the show, Daniel Bryan, who's now obviously I knew this anyways, but he's now clean shaven. You know, if you want a haircut, just go to the Fiend and get a haircut. Apparently, so because he gives a pretty damn good haircut. And the Miz says he still wants to get his hands on the Fiend Bray Wyatt or Bray Wyatt. He wasn't specific. I guess just Bray Wyatt in general. Even though he couldn't even beat Bray Wyatt, the regular one, so why makes me think he's going to be able to beat the Fiend? But whatever.
Because he's different.
and he says that he wants Daniel Bryan to kick the Fiend's ass at the Royal Rumble. So then it leads to later on in the show, Kofi Kingston and Big E are celebrating. I'm gonna keep saying it, by the way. I guess Kofi's not mad that he got jobbed out in 6 seconds. You're not gonna change my mind. What they did to Kofi Kingston's criminal. The fact that like they just put him right back down where he was right after he lost the championship. I'm still mad about that. And then the Miz though just isn't really in the mood for any of these antics. I thought Big E was hilarious, where he pretty much implied that he was watching porn by saying he saw the balls drop, and then Kofi Kingston's like, "No, it's the ball drop," and then Big E's like, "I don't think we were watching the same thing," or something like that. I thought too it was funny when he went to refer to Kofi Kingston and he refers to him as his neighbor. I'm not going to say it, but you can get what Big E was going to say because he says nay and then pauses and then says Abel. So you can get what he was going to say there. And the Miz, though, gets aggressive and challenges Kofi to a match. And I love what they did here. That the Miz is just so out of it that the Fiend's got into his head, and Kofi rolls up the Miz and loses. And I think what's really making Bray Wyatt's character work right now, there's things that work about it, there's things that don't work about it. But what really works about it is everyone that's faced the Fiend has gone through some type of change. Obviously we have Finn Balor with his heel turn in NXT. We have Seth Rollins with his heel turn, and now the Miz looks like he's going to go through that change. And then Daniel Bryan, obviously now is back to his American Dragon persona, kind of in a sense. So the Miz is backstage. It looks like he's going back to his heel persona. Or later on in the show, John Morrison is seen in the Miz's locker room, so it's implied maybe they're going to team those two up again. Like I said, I'm really disappointed of how John Morrison's returned. I just would have done it differently. I would have just had him wait until he comes out at the Royal Rumble as a nice big surprise instead of just announcing he signed a contract, showing up on the bump, and then showing up here. Very disappointed. But I like the stuff they're doing with The Miz right now. And why don't we start with that? Why don't you give your thoughts on that before we talk about, the end of the show?
I like it. I like it a lot. That's great. Really, really great. I think, they're bringing back the Miz and Morrison because tonight on SmackDown they're having Miz TV with John Morrison on it.
Yep.
So it's either he's staying babyface and or I don't know. It's weird because they're bringing that John Morrison to be a face, a heel. I don't get it, but I'm interested to see the storyline goes. As far as I love the Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt feud. It was the only match I really look forward to on that crappy pay-per-view. It's exciting. I love the fact they went back to the American Dragon persona.
Yep. So then, continuing with the Daniel Bryan thing, they're teasing the fact that Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, because Roman Reigns announced his participation in the Rumble. I really didn't like that segment. That was just very scripted. It just didn't feel organic. And I notice that type of stuff now since I'm watching a lot of NWA and AEW. I notice it more so now than I did probably back then. So there you go. It led to a tag team match with Ken Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. They were on the verge of winning, but then the Fiend showed up and just destroyed Daniel Bryan. And he threw him through the timekeeper's area. And then afterwards, Roman Reigns was about to get beat down, and they were going to dump dog food on him. Which I hear is going to lead to, a loser has to eat dog food match. Please don't let that happen. I'm not watching SmackDown that week if that match is on, by the way. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And then they led to the Usos' return. They have new haircuts now. I like the fact that the Usos are back. I hope Jimmy Uso can keep himself clean. And this is a new version of the Usos. If the Usos do this again, then I'm just going to be disappointed. And they help Roman Reigns and the Bloodlines back together now. So I like that. It makes sense for them to make the move to SmackDown, because that's, what Roman Reigns is. And technically they weren't really on a brand because, like I said, everyone that didn't get drafted became free agents. Even though it's a bit inconsistent though, because I hear Matt Hardy wrestled on Raw, but on WWE.com it says he's on SmackDown. So it's like, what are you doing? But that's a different story. And yeah, that was SmackDown. What were your thoughts on the whole main event angle? That's basically what I just covered right there. So
I like it. I like it. It's
Um,
interesting.
and yeah, I thought SmackDown, was a good show. Have my criticisms about it, but it was
But overall,
like,
SmackDown's been pretty good.
yeah. I just think, one of the main flaws I have with it is we were promised like a new sports field type of show when they went to Fox, and it just feels like the same old SmackDown. I feel like we should have had that change, but they missed the ball on that. So, um, but other than that, now we're gonna move on to Raw. We're gonna do the same thing pretty much. So, um, it feels like they were going back to just a two-man booth with Vic Joseph and Joey the King Lawler, which I think they should just go to the two-man booth because I think they work really well together. Because I know Joe was doing commentary, but obviously
That
because
was
now,
just like a part-time. I don't think that was supposed to be permanent.
but I think they should just stick to the two-man booth because I feel like Vic and Jerry really have good chemistry. I feel like too because
Yeah.
Jerry's kind of acting like a heel right now, so
Oh yeah, definitely because Joe's off commentary.
yeah, so I think Jerry as a
That
heel
heel.
really works. Um, so Brock Lesnar returned. This was the first time we've seen Brock Lesnar. He basically, long story in the short, feels like there's no one credible right now to challenge him for the WWE title. So he's going to enter himself into the Royal Rumble as number one. And whoever wants to face Brock Lesnar, now will get to face Brock Lesnar. I actually like this. This is the first year that the champion has been in the Royal Rumble where his title wasn't on the line. So this adds a lot of intrigue to that. What happens if now the WWE champion wins the Royal Rumble? Does he get to pick his opponent? Does he go after the Universal title? Does he get to take the night off? Which probably obviously won't happen unless Brock Lesnar does it. It's Brock Lesnar. You never know.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but there's no one really credible right now to face Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. And also this can be used to set up his WrestleMania match. If I was booking this, and obviously this isn't going to happen, I would have Keith Lee be the guy to eliminate Brock Lesnar and do, Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Because I feel like, huh?
That would work.
Especially too, because Vince is high on Keith Lee, so I feel like Vince would be down with that. If it leads to something stupid like Cain Velasquez or Tyson Fury eliminating him, then if I come over to your house to watch WrestleMania, I'm not watching Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez or Brock Lesnar versus Tyson Fury. I will leave the room during that match.
They already did Brock versus Velasquez. I don't think they're gonna do that again.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully. But I like it though. It wins that IPV. What are your thoughts on the WWE champion being in the Royal Rumble? So
it's unique. It's interesting. It's different. They don't do very often.
So then we had this United States Championship match between Rey Mysterio and Andrade. Obviously, really like these matches. Rey Mysterio and Andrade aren't capable of putting on a bad match. I really liked the match, but the finish was very confusing. Because what happened was Rey inadvertently took out Zelina Vega.
Oh, it's really botchy.
And Andrade was going to put away Rey Mysterio with the Hammerlock DDT. And then Rey goes outside the ring to check on her. And then he goes in the ring and just gets hit with it anyways. It was just really confusing. It felt like that Rey was supposed to check on her originally and forgot to, so they had to kind of work with it. But
if you watch John Cone, manhandles fucking Andrade outside the ring.
Yeah.
He's pulling him in the ring for some reason, and then Rey stumbles out, and then tries to I don't know, check on Zelina, I guess.
Yeah.
Stumbles over there, stumbles back after he fucking the first time he puts him in the Hammerlock DDT. John Cone rips him off of him.
Yeah.
And so people speculated he was hurt, and then it was just a bunch of confusion.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It kind of ruined the match almost.
Yeah. I feel like if they were gonna call an audible, they should have just let Andrade just win right at, instead of doing like they should have. I get they wanted to get that story out there, but I feel like the audible that they called just made it more complicated and confusing. So
Yeah.
um and then afterwards Andrade ripped off Rey Mysterio's mask. I know how you feel about that, so we're not really gonna go there. It
Hate it.
led to Rey attacking Andrade, so they're gonna continue that feud.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah. Um so there you go. They're all continually implying about Rey Mysterio possibly having his last match soon. But the thing is, I don't even know. The guy can still go. Like, I don't really think they should really be built. If they're gonna have, I don't really think he needs to even have his last match anytime soon. Just in my opinion, but sure. So then we're just gonna skip ahead a little bit to the Raw Tag Title match where it was the Viking Raiders defending against the Street Profits, defending against Gallows and Anderson. The Viking Raiders ended up winning. I'm not calling him by the Hanson hits the splash on Anderson for the win. I refuse to call him by those names now. So
I've honor it, baby.
I would have given the win to Gallows and Anderson, obviously, but I think they want to build up to the War Raiders versus AOP.
The Viking experience.
They want to build up to the War Raiders versus AOP. Maybe
the Viking Raiders versus AOP. Do you want?
Maybe at WrestleMania, maybe at the Royal Rumble for the titles, which I'd be okay with. I would love to see that match. So there you go. Then we had a Becky Lynch promo. So yeah, I like the tag title match. I really wanted, but I really wanted to see Gallows and Anderson get the win. But it didn't happen. So what about you? What you thought of the tag title match?
It's good. I like the feud. It's a good feud. Yeah, it has potential to be really good.
Then we had a Becky Lynch promo. I like the storyline they're telling with it, basically going back to a feud from last year where Becky Lynch can't beat Asuka, so she's doubting herself whether she can or not, and then she just punches Asuka in the face. Fine. I mean, obviously, I would love to see Asuka win the title, so that way we can really sell that story. But I think at this point, they should just keep the title on Becky till Mania. At this point, you've gone this long, just go all the way with it. But I'm looking forward to this match at the Royal Rumble. I like Asuka as a heel. I think it really works. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense though that she does. They're kind of putting the women's tag titles on debacle, but I don't really know what's going on with Kairi Sane right now with her injury and such. So, but I'm fine with them going to this feud. I think it's really good. I even love how they showed like that. All the times Asuka's beaten Becky Lynch. So, what do you think of this?
It's okay. I mean, they've already done it, so I mean, they have really no qualms against it.
Yep. Then we have this awful gimmick they're doing with Eric Rowan right now, where he has a bird cage. We don't know what's in it. Mojo Rawley looked in it. He's freaked out by it. He beat some jobber named KJ Orsowo. I don't know how to say that guy's name, and he put his face into the cage, and it's some critter, I don't know, ate his face because he came up with all this blood on his face. Even though Vince said he's not all about blood and guts, apparently that was a lie. So there you go. Yeah. I just know this is going somewhere stupid. It's what if it's anything but a rat named Billy Corgan, because that would be a reference to the song "Bullet with Butterflies," or Katie Vick's severed head. I won't buy it. This storyline's dumb. What about you? What do you think of this cage gimmick?
It's alright. Nothing special. Nothing like they haven't done before.
AJ Styles squashed Akira Tozawa. He mocked Randy Orton, did all his moves. It was fine, but I just wouldn't. If they were gonna do this, just throw an enhancement talent. Don't throw Akira Tozawa under the bus. Again, it's why call the guy up from 205/NXT if you're gonna job him out. It doesn't make any sense. Akira Tozawa's an awesome talent. He could really do a lot. I'm not saying world champ, but he could be like a Intercontinental Champion, or in this case, U.S. Champion. But no,
he could be a world champion.
Let's just job the guy out. I just think, you could have just done you could just casual Orso match with Styles, and the job would have been more effective. But yeah, I'm excited to see AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. I would have waited. I would have waited to do that match, but this is one of the problems with kind of having the Royal Rumble pay-per-view is, they don't want to throw all matches because they want to save spots in the Rumble. But I like the AJ Styles Randy Orton feud. It's kind of cool that the roles are reversed now, where Styles is the heel and Orton's the face, because I think those roles kind of fit a little bit better. And yeah, just like it. What about you?
I like it. That's good.
Then this dumpster fire of a storyline that's not ending anytime soon. The fallout of the wedding between Bobby Lashley and Lana. I'm going to tell you how much of a dumpster fire this is, and this is just one of those things that just makes it a dumpster fire. So, AJ Styles was leaving the ring, and then you see the guy that's supposed to, officiate the wedding, get tackled by security because the security thought he was a fan trying to jump the ring. How much more of a dumpster fire can you get than that?
Perfect.
Then Lana, for some reason, like I said, it was never explained why all of a sudden now she can speak fluent English, except when she says Rusev. She can't believe she can't say that in English. She has to have that, Russian accent. They basically just redo the marriage ceremony, which I don't think is, I don't think that's a thing, because people had already denied and spoken that they shouldn't get married. I feel like, just doesn't happen. So they got married, and Lana's like, well, I'm still upset. I'm still sad and depressed. I feel like we're not happy. And Rusev humps up on the screen. We find out he's on vacation because he's using, the money from the joint account. And what makes this just so bad is the guy's not at the beach, because you can totally tell he's standing right in front of a green screen. You couldn't actually go to the beach for this.
They're at the arena.
Rusev, is just having a grand old time. He shows all the embarrassing moments that's happened between Bobby Lashley and Lana. And then Lana gets mad, and they're teasing that they're going to break them up because Bobby Lashley told Lana to shut up. Bobby Lashley challenges Rusev to a match. Rusev, of course, accepts.
Mr. and Mrs. Bob?
That was funny. I gotta say, as bad as the storyline is, I feel like, too, I haven't seen I've only seen this one segment, really, so I haven't seen the worst of the worst, really. Rusev delivery is pretty damn good in this storyline. Yeah, Rusev accepts, and then I feel like it was weird, too, because Bobby Lashley, I don't know if Lana messed up or not, because it felt like Bobby Lashley was, in the middle of a sentence, and Lana just talked right over him. I don't know. And then afterwards, while R-Truth was being interviewed, Liv Morgan came up and said that, she's interested in that match, and it's implied that she's going to be in Rusev's corner, but she wasn't specific about it. And then she says the most scripted line I've ever heard in my life. These are the moments that I live for. And obviously, you can see the pun they were trying to get out there. And it's just...
That's so unscripted.
And then it's just so bad because they went all in with this Liv Morgan, being a lesbian for Lana. And it was kind of like they were afraid... because of the backlash they got from that, to really do anything more with it. You dove right in. If you want to go in with it, just go in with it. And what sucks the most,
but Lana's acting like the scorned lover.
Yeah.
Or Liv Morgan's acting like the scorned lover, and Lana's acting like it never happened.
Yeah.
Except for this is a story that they've been building up for 2 years now.
And that's what sucks the most about this, because the storyline ain't ending anytime soon, because it's getting viewership up and the YouTube viewership up.
I love this storyline. I love it.
Can't blame you for loving it, so there you go. So then we had we were supposed and we'll just talk about this other thing, this R-Truth thing. Just get rid of the 24/7 championship because it's basically useless at this point. It's so they forgot about this title. They accidentally put it into the retired championship things on their website. That's how bad it is now. Like, Charlotte Flair and Sarah Logan were supposed to have a match, but they just beat the crap out of each other. This was so pointless because if they wanted to set up a feud, there's no reason for it now because Charlotte Flair just kicked Sarah Logan's ass anyways. So, yeah. There you go.
It happened.
Just a thing. This I love. I'm just weird, but I love this. So Drew McIntyre is having a match with No Way Jose, and he just beating the crap out of like the Conda line, and he has this new thing now when he does the Claymore kick, he counts down when he's about to hit it, and Drew McIntyre then asks anyone, "Do you dare me to do another one? Do you double dog dare me?" And if he says, "If you double dog dare me, I have to do it," and then he hits the Claymore kick again. And he says, with microphone in hand, and then he says that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And I don't know. This just really works. This just works so well. I think it's a way to turn Drew face.
If that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense they went up against No Way Jose, though.
Yeah, I know.
Because Jose's a face. Makes no sense. It's weird.
But I like what they're doing here. Like, it's entertaining. I feel like it's...
I think it's from Meltzer, who said that it's sort of like a Paul Heyman thing where it's going to be an eventual feud against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, so I like it.
It works too because they're trying to get him over as a babyface, which he's over as a heel anyway.
Yep.
And this just gives him like a gimmick now, like to interact with the crowd. And it works too because even though he's a fucking right now on paper he's a heel. And he's doing 3, 2, 1, and the crowd is counting down with him.
Yeah, so
it's awesome. I was laughing the whole time, and just to see how he was having fun doing it.
Yeah,
it just made it even better.
Well, let's have fun. I like it. Then Aleister Black beat Shelton Benjamin. I could talk about how it was a waste to sign Shelton Benjamin, but Shelton Benjamin I think is at the point where he doesn't really need to be winning. He's, a veteran. He's got to put guys over. That's fine. That was the Black, too. And then afterwards, Buddy Murphy attacks him, and he takes a chair and knees the chair right into his face. Like, he opens up the chair and then knees it right into his face. So they're going to continue that feud. It's going to lead to a match next week. I think Buddy Murphy needs to win that match next week, so that way they can really continue this feud, and it actually makes sense for him to win next week because they can sell the injury where Aleister Black's coming in with an injured jaw. So I hope that's the direction they go in. Obviously, I love their feud. I watched the match that they had, on the last Raw of the decade, and then we had an awesome match there. And I'm just really, like I said, I want to see a best of 7 series for these two because I think they could really, they would really benefit them. But yeah, I think Buddy Murphy needs to get the win next week. I think they want to keep Aleister Black strong though, but I feel like Buddy Murphy needs to get a win at some point.
Make him look strong in defeat.
Yeah. So I like this Buddy Murphy Aleister Black feud. And yeah, I just not really a fan of them though. Of having a match next week. I get I want to see the match, but I feel like they should keep Aleister Black out for a week and just have Buddy Murphy just talk about hey, I took out Aleister Black, and then in the Royal Rumble match when Buddy Murphy's in it, Aleister Black can be an entrance and just eviscerate Buddy Murphy, and you could lead to a no disqualification match at the pay-per-view in between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble. I just think it's one of those things where I feel like you can just get the most out of it by not doing as many matches type of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just the matches have been so good that I guess more is better in their case. People tune in to see that. see that match because that pay-per-view match was awesome, and the last two matches have been fantastic.
So then I've been skipping around with this, but we're just going to talk about it all at once now. Earlier in the show, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens threw out a challenge for a tag team match. Samoa Joe threw out the challenge where he challenged him to a 6-man, and Kevin Owens was confused because he was thinking it's going to be him, Joe, and Charlie Caruso versus Seth Rollins and AOP, which I died laughing when he said that. And Samoa Joe says, I got a plan. So Seth Rollins and AOP accepted. I got to say, I love the fact now that Seth Rollins is finally in his proper role as a heel. He really was not working at all as a face anymore. Like, his face one was just, obviously it's a fault of his own, and then obviously the end of the year just really did him no favors. So I love the fact now that they finally turned him heel, and it just feels natural now. Like, and the thing is too, now he can do all this Twitter stuff he was doing now because now he's a heel.
Yeah.
So it's great, and I like the AOP thing. The only thing I don't like though is that they took the AOP out of the. If there was like, I feel like they should have put AOP and Seth in the Shield gear because that would really get them heat because it's not the Shield. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should have done
that. And then so Seth's accept. I like that now. Seth is calling himself the Messiah of Monday Night Raw because that's kind of what we all wanted him to be. Is it the first week he's called himself this, or has this been a recurrent thing?
It was new this week.
And then later on in the show, Kevin Owens is kind of concerned about who the tag team partner is, and then Samoa Joe takes Kevin Owens and he takes him to like this room where the tag team partner is, and Charlie Caruso's trying to get answers, and Joe's like, just don't worry about it. So I thought that was great. And then later on in the show, we found out it was the Big Show. I was happy to see the Big Show, but I was kind of just disappointed. I kind of wanted it to be like a new star, like maybe like John Morrison returning, or maybe like the Velveteen Dream finally getting called up to the main roster, or called, I guess, across to the main roster. So it's not a call up anymore. But I was happy to see the Big Show, but I just kind of,
it actually was like a legitimate surprise too.
Yeah,
which makes it better.
Instead of
going, oh, it's the Big Show. Here he is.
Yeah.
He's that guys.
The thing I wasn't a fan though is I hate it when they do disqualification finishes. Was not a fan of that. I feel like you could have had Big Show, Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe win. It wouldn't have hurt Seth Rollins and AOP because it was the Big Show's return. Because they're having a match next week anyways. I wasn't a fan. I just was not a fan of the DQ finish. And next week they're having a fist fight in a 6-man tag. a fist fight? You kidding me? A fist fight? What the hell's that?
With the Big Show, come on, he's got the KO.
I'm not a fan of that. They messed up too because they accidentally didn't put the graphic up of like the mystery partner thing they did for this week. So it's like
they also like rushed it into about a minute and a half.
Yeah. So yeah, fist fight. Come on, get out of here.
I love it.
But yeah, I like that was Raw. Raw was a good show. It just kind of felt like a flat episode of Monday Night Raw in a sense, I
Which
felt
is better than it being shit.
Yeah, but it was kind of a flat episode. But Raw and SmackDown did enough. Like, well, I'll watch, next week. So I'll watch, SmackDown tonight. I don't know how long SmackDown's gonna keep my interest though, because we have this it did enough to keep my interest, but we'll see. Raw did, Raw, just because we're getting Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy and AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, it did enough to keep my interest for that too. We'll see what happens when the Royal Rumble comes. I'll just say this right now: if the Royal Rumble winner for the men's is like someone like John Cena coming out winning it, Tyson Fury, or Cain Velasquez, don't expect me to watch Monday Night Raw after that.
If it's Drew McIntyre.
If it's Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, and like someone from NXT, then I'll watch Raw. Then I'll watch Raw. If it's any of those names I just said that I don't want to win the Royal Rumble, then I'm not watching Raw, at least the next night. But John Cena, if he wants to challenge for that 17th world title, which won't break the record, guys, but you know, um, he doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble to do that. He could just come out and say, "I want to challenge for that world championship." But you know, um, but now let's get to everything NXT UK related, since they have the big NXT UK takeover show coming up this Sunday, which is weird. All the NXT shows now are Sundays because they have you know Portland's going to be on a Sunday, UK takeovers on a Sunday. It's going to be kind of a weird time. Um, so lately NXT UK has been a little bit better, I think, now because they're building to an NXT UK takeover show, which is good. I rather the stuff that I don't like about NXT UK, but we'll talk about that, as I get along. This one won't be show reviews. I'll just kind of go over the big storylines that's been going on. So lately, obviously, I don't know how much you know about NXT UK, Chris. Probably nothing, but
nothing at all. Period.
They've been finally teasing the feud between Imperium and Gallus, which I like that feud. I just think there's some things I don't really like about it. Like now, Gallus is just randomly face, even though they were heel for a long time. I don't really like the fact that Ilya Dragunov kind of joined up with Gallus, because it just kind of doesn't really make any sense. Because if you know your UK indie history, Ilya Dragunov and Walter are the tag champions together, and Ilya Dragunov was in like the group originally when it was WinComp, so it kind of doesn't really work. But on the main event of episode 73, they had there was a deal that they did. Well, that was episode 72, but they did a deal where Joe Coffey wanted a UK championship match against Walter. And to get it, he had to have Wolfgang and Mark Coffey put the UK tag titles on the line against Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel. And then he also had to have Ilya Dragunov face Alexander Wolf in a no disqualification match. So we had the UK Championship tag title match. And the match got thrown out because Grizzled Young Veterans and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster interfered. So it led to Sid Scala and Johnny Saint coming out, and they made the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title ladder match that we're going to get. It's going to be Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel versus Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus the Grizzled Young Veterans for the NXT UK tag titles in a ladder match, which I think that match will be awesome. You have like a mixed guys in there. You have Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews who can do the high flying stuff. You have Marcel Bartel and Fabian Aichner, who got like the brawling style, and you have Grizzled Young Veterans. You have James Drake, who's a mix of like that high flying stuff, and Zach Gibson and such. So I actually really am looking forward to that tag title ladder match. I think that could be a show stealer. And they've been doing video packages and such about like how Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel don't want to be in it because it goes against everything that they stand for when it comes to wrestling and such. So yeah, that match I think could be awesome. Other things that have been going on, they've been setting up a feud between Trent Seven and Eddie Dennis. Trent Seven was supposed to have a match with Michael May, but Eddie Dennis took him out and like offered him as like a sacrificial lamb to Trent Seven, and Eddie Dennis has been acting strange. I really like how he's been acting, where he's kind of acting like this silent killer, because he had that injury that like took him out for 8 months, and he feels like really frustrated about it. And Trent Seven kind of wants to know what's going on because they train together and stuff. But then Eddie Dennis just cheap shotted him, so that's leading to a match at NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2. I'm really excited about that match. I actually love this feud. It's been really good. And then they've been setting up a feud between Jordan Devlin and Tyler Bate, because Tyler Bate is upset that not Tyler Bate, Jordan Devlin is upset that Tyler Bate's continuously getting the opportunities that Jordan Devlin wants, and he feels like he's worthy of these opportunities. He's been taking out like Tyler Bates person that he's been training in A-Kid, and he just destroyed him in a match. So I'm actually really looking forward to that match. I actually think that match could be like the match of the best match of the whole show. Because Tyler Bates, we know, capable of putting on like 5-star classic, and Jordan Devlin's no slouch. So I really like this. A feud that I really don't care about at all, though, is the NXT UK. It feels like no wrestling company except NXT US can get the women's division right.
I know, yeah.
NWA sucks at it, AEW sucking at it, and then NXT UK is just, it's like they all get together at a party and say, hey, who can do the let's have a bet, who can do the women's division the worst, and NXT UK is doing it just as bad because Toni Storm's back in UK now. I don't really think that's beneficial, but whatever. And she wants to get at Kaylee Way because of all the stuff that Kaylee Way did to get the NXT UK Women's title from her. So, and not Dawn, Piper Niven wants to get to the NXT UK Women's Championship. And they were all friends at one point. Oh my gosh, a storyline that we've seen.
No way.
Yeah, a storyline that we've seen done to death everywhere. Where they were friends and they had like a falling out right when they got signed to WWE. Oh my gosh.
So happens they got signed to WWE and then bam, friendship gone. Dead.
Done. It's like Kevin Owens said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Let's just rip this off everywhere. So it's led to some disillusion between Toni Storm and Piper Niven because we find out that it's going to be a triple threat match, and Toni Storm doesn't really know who to trust right now because Kaylee Ray was seen as like a friend to her, so she's afraid that Piper Niven's just going to do the same thing. Oh my gosh, riveting stuff. So Toni Storm tried to get Piper Niven to get out of the match, but Piper Niven didn't want to because it's a chance to become UK Women's Champion. The storyline sucks. I'm not looking forward to this women's triple threat at all. It's, oh my gosh.
I just don't care.
People tell me that the same people that are booking NXT UK book NXT, but if you watch some of the ways that that the storylines that they do, I beg to differ. Because Kaylee Ray was a completely different performer when she was on NXT for a few weeks than she was in NXT UK. So I beg to differ. And then Ilya Dragunov and Alexander Wolf had the no DQ match where Ilya Dragunov won, and then Imperium beat him down, and Joe Coffey laid out Walter to kind of as a go home angle. I actually am in favor now of the Joe Coffey Walter feud. It's kind of a match that's a year in the making, because if you remember when Walter debuted, he laid out Joe Coffey with that big boot, so it's kind of a match that's a year in the making. I just kind of wish they would have done a better job of kind of building up Joe Coffey, because I feel like that match at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff really didn't do him any favors, but I feel like, since then, he's been kind of booked a lot better. Other side things that have been going on, Ahmed Jordan returned and has been teaming back up with Kenny Williams, and they finally got a win. You really noticing, by the way, that NXT UK is kind of taking the spot that NXT had, because what happens now is they're putting guys down there like Kona Reeves, Riddick Moss, and Dorian Mack, who's what's his name? I forget his name. What his name was before, but you're noticing now that they realize that they can't put these guys in NXT anymore because NXT is on national television every week, so they kind of have to, it's not really a good sign if you're having Kona Reeves on NXT, because like I said, NXT is not a developmental brand anymore, so they can't have these guys that aren't ready for national television on NXT. So I think that's kind of a unique thing now. It really shows that they really see NXT as kind of a third brand now. Because the people that are on it are ready to be on it mostly. So then and Cassius Ohno, don't even get me started with him. His whole gimmick now is he's just going to be the best British wrestler, which I think is just a lazy way of him, so that way he doesn't have to do that much and just not have to work on his cardio, because he's lazy now. So lazy now. This dude, I can't believe people used to tell me that this was one of the best free agents. Probably true, but the Cassius Ohno that I see at WWE is just crap.
He's amazing. He's in such great shape.
Oh my gosh.
Round.
Work on your
Round.
work on your cardio, buddy. And that's basically all of NXT UK. Been good. But I just get mad at things like Cassius Ohno, so there you go. Cassius Ohno just quit wrestling. Real quick, we're gonna do our predictions. For NXT, UK Takeover Blackpool.
Is there any stipulations?
Yeah, I'm kind of planning this as I go. So,
I hope not. We're gonna have some.
Who takes the fall? Yeah, who takes the fall in the triple threat women's match? And that's probably it, because I can't do who takes the fall in the ladder match because there's no pin. There's not supposed to be any pinfalls unless we have 2K20 glitch all over again. But let's go through this. So obviously I've basically said all the matches. There's no like dog matches really announced yet. So like I said, I'm really looking forward to this show. I think it could be an awesome show, but I also said the same thing about NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, and I did enjoy that show. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm kind of waiting and seeing how it happens.
Yeah.
But if this show sucks, I'd be surprised. Because there's no way like any of these matches. The only match I'm really not looking forward to is the women's match, and that's it.
Okay.
First we'll start with Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. I'm really excited about this match. I think this match could be like the sleeper of the night, where I think this could be really a show stealer. I could see this being a match of the weekend, because also Impact's having their pay-per-view, so I could see this match being the match of the weekend. I'll let you predict first, because you're not really in tune with what's going on with NXT UK. So who do you think's winning this match, Tyler Bate or Jordan Devlin?
Bate.
So I think Jordan Devlin's actually going to win. I think he needs to win a little bit more. I really don't think it hurts Tyler Bate to lose this match. I think Jordan Devlin can, actually like benefit from this win and actually maybe get a UK title match out of this and stuff. And I just think he's been doing awesome. But this match I think is going to be great. Then we have a match I really don't know what direction they could go with. It's Trent Seven versus Eddie Dennis, because they both need a win. Trent Seven's been kind of floundering lately in NXT UK. And Eddie Dennis, this is like his return. So it would really not be beneficial for him to lose. But who do you think will win this match?
I'm going to go with Trent Seven.
I'm going to go Eddie Dennis. I think that he needs a big victory here, and this can be like a good pathway. The thing is Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, Mustache Mountain, really don't need to win. Because they're big stars anyways in NXT UK. So they're kind of like in that.
I think they're going to get one last big win for both of them before they move on.
That's the thing, too. Is this going to be their last match in NXT UK? I'm surprised they're still there. I don't know if they want to move to US yet, because that's the thing, too. Like, Pete Dunne probably wanted to move to the US because
nothing else for him.
Huh?
Pete Dunne did, because there was really nothing for him.
Yeah. And, you have Pete Dunne who has a family now, so that's probably a better... he's probably making more money right now being in NXT US versus NXT UK and such too. Then we have the match I'm really not looking forward to, the triple threat match for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Kaylee Ray defending against Toni Storm and Piper Niven. We're predicting who wins and who takes the fall. So this is interesting because recently Toni Storm just came out and challenged Rhea Ripley to an NXT Women's Championship match in NXT, and they want to make that title for title, but I don't think that's the direction they're going to go with. I think it's time for Toni Storm also to move on from NXT UK, mainly because I think she could be booked better out of the UK. Her NXT UK one's been kind of a joke. The thing is, too, you can't derail NXT UK's talent either, because
you could supplement it though with live event talent.
Yeah, because British Strong Style leaving, that's a big, like all of them, that's a big blow to NXT UK. Do you really want to take
they already lost Pete Dunne.
Yeah. I say Kaylee Ray retains by pinning Toni Storm. Because I think you can get a future title match out of Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven. And Kaylee Ray just won the belt not that long ago. This is her first title defense. I think she could utilize that like Piper Niven, Tony Storm like feud. This match could surprise me. This could end up being a really awesome match, but I just think with the story that they're going to try to tell, I'm just not buying it, and I'm really a fan of it, so I don't really think I'm going to enjoy this match all that much. It could surprise me, though. But what about you? What do you think? Who do you think will win, and who takes the fall?
For Niven, I'm going to say anything with you, Tony Storm.
Okay. Then we have the ladder match for the NXT UK.
I'm just going to say this right now. I'm doubling up here. I'm going Gallus, Joe Coffey.
What? Wait, what? Oh, okay.
Just to save it, I'm doubling up. I'm gonna go Gallus.
Okay. So yeah, we have the NXT UK Tag Title match, the 4-way match. It's gonna be Mark Coffey and Wolfgang defending against Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel, defending against the Grizzled Young Veterans, defending against Mark Andrews and Vladimir Webster in a fatal 4-way ladder match for the championships. So I'm going to say they're going to finally do it and put all the championships on Imperium, and I think Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel are going to get the NXT UK Tag Team titles. I think, they're an awesome team. They're my favorite team in NXT UK, and I think they're going to get the NXT UK Tag Team titles. They're also in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team class, and they could end up winning that, too, which would be great.
So isn't
Huh?
So isn't Gallus, too.
Ooh, you missed NXT.
That as your final.
No, because Atlas is already eliminated. So.
I should have did that for the final. That would have been more interesting. This is what I get. I watched freaking AEW over that.
So then we have Walter versus Joe Coffey for the championship, and this is really a tough one to call because, well, not really tough. I think it's fairly easy. But the problem is, if Joe Coffey loses, who beats Walter for the championship? Because there's really nobody in NXT UK that's not Mustache Mountain that can. But I don't think they're gonna. But they've already kind of went that road. Like no one in NXT UK is credible right now to beat Walter for the title. With Joe Coffey, kind of is it. I don't really know.
That's why that's why I picked him.
Yeah, but I don't really know if he like. I would really do that. I'm just saying Walter.
But then if you don't have him beat Walter, who else?
Yeah, but I just don't think Imperium's reign on NXT UK is done, because also you got to think about it like this: Imperium's also going in to face Undisputed Era at Worlds Collide, so you want to kind of keep them looking strong too going into that match. So I'm gonna say Walter retains, and then I'm gonna call out. I feel like maybe this would be a tiebreaker. Are we gonna see an NXT US invasion in NXT UK? Are we gonna see someone come out and attack someone from the UK roster? And I'm gonna say yes. And I'm gonna say, Undisputed Era after this match, Imperium will be celebrated, and they're gonna attack, Imperium to really build to that match at Worlds Collide, because I think that'd be beneficial. But yeah, so now we're gonna move on to one of the final topics. Everything going on with NXT right now, minus this week's episode, because we're probably gonna save that for like the review or the rundown. But we'll break down all the 205 Live stuff first. So this week, well, not this week, but on the December 11th edition of NXT, they had Angel Gaza versus Lio Rush for the NXT UK, the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. It's like a rematch that had been a feud that was building for a while. That is an awesome match. You really need to check that out. That's awesome. Angel Gaza finally beat Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and he ended up proposing to his girlfriend afterwards. And it seems like they turned him face, which I think is the direction they should go in, because he's so over in Full Sail now that it would be a crime not to turn him face, especially now that he just proposed to his girlfriend at Full Sail. Like, no one's going to boo him now at this point. On 205 Live, he wrestled Tony Nese last week, beat him, and he was kind of portrayed as the babyface, so I think they'll go in the direction of turning Angel Gaza face. Other side things that have been going on 205 Live is the Brian Kendrick return and screw Danny Burch out of a victory against Ariya Daivari. I think they're going to give Kendrick the next shot at the title, because his whole thing is he hasn't had a title shot in 3 years, and I think they should give Kendrick a shot at the Cruiserweight Championship. Other things going on is Joaquin Wilde recently made his debut in 205 Live, so it looks like they have big things set up for him. And yeah, that's it really. But yeah, I really like him. The Cruiserweight division recently. I think them being a part of NXT has really helped 205 Live. Because now it feels like they have a bigger spotlight now. Also, recently, Isaiah Swerve Scott beat Gentleman Jack Gallagher, which is kind of like a plot hole because Gallagher quit 205 and all of a sudden he was just wrestling on NXT in a 205 capacity, so that was weird. But whatever. It was on Christmas, so you can't really have to overlook that. But what about you? After NXT's Cruiserweight division, what do you think about that?
I don't watch it, so I can't really have an opinion. Can't really comment on it.
So then, other things that have been going on in NXT, Austin Theory recently made his debut in NXT. He debuted on the Christmas edition and took on Roderick Strong for the North American Championship, and they had a clinic match. They really, went all out. It's really crazy. Like they had that awesome match on Christmas. But Roderick Strong obviously retained his title, and Austin Theory, this week beat Joaquin Wilde. So I'm happy to see Austin Theory in NXT. I think he could do some, nice big things. I think he could, be in NXT for a while. What about you? What do you think about Austin Theory in NXT?
It's cool. He's young. He'll be there for a long time.
And then obviously, another debut we just recently had in NXT is Shotzi Blackheart. She debuted and faced Bianca Belair in a really good match, and Bianca Belair won. So, it's really interesting to see what's going to happen with Shotzi Blackheart and Austin Theory. And then we have everything going on with the NXT championship picture. Recently in a triple threat match, Finn Balor defeated Keith Lee and Tommaso Ciampa to get a title shot, and then he faced Adam Cole for the title. It was a really awesome match, and Johnny Gargano returned, which was a huge shock because it was reported that he was supposed to be out for like months with a neck injury, and he just returned like 3 months later. And Adam Cole hit the last shot on him and retained his title, and then Gargano beat him down afterwards. And he did this big promo this week, which I'll talk about later, but it's really awesome stuff. It's really surprising. I really am enjoying Finn Balor's heel run in NXT. I think him being a heel is awesome, and I think he's going to be in NXT for a long, long time. So, what do you think about the Johnny Gargano Finn Balor situation?
It's great.
And then just checking, make sure I don't miss anything important. Everything going on in the women's division. The main thing we can talk about that finally happened is Shayna Baszler finally got dethroned of her NXT Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley. And that's a big deal because that was the week where NXT destroyed AEW in the ratings that week. And Rhea Ripley defeated Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. I think, the fact they did it on TV was a great idea, because obviously you have that Wednesday Night Wars going on. You want to kind of, make people want to watch NXT every week. Rhea Ripley beat Shayna Baszler. There was really nobody else that really could have. She has been a big draw from NXT recently. She won more games. She went to Survivor Series and won the Women's Survivor Series match, a captain that, and she just has a huge amount of star power, and I love it. And I think that's going to be Shayna Baszler's last match in NXT. I really don't see her doing anything else because she's basically done everything that she can. But Rhea Ripley being the NXT Women's Champion, I think could be nice. And I love the women's division in NXT. That's the one brand that's getting the women's division right, because NXT has all these women that have great character development. You have Rhea Ripley. Io Shirai, Shayna Baszler, and they're not just going out there and having matches and having like inconsistent feuds. All the feuds make sense. And all the characters, they do a good enough job of kind of telling you who they are. So, I love NXT's women's division. I think it's the best women's division in all of professional wrestling, but it's not really saying much right now because it sucks basically everywhere else. What do you think of the women's division in NXT?
It's the best. It's the best in the world right now.
Absolutely. And then they recently announced the Dusty Rhodes tag team classics. I love the fact that they're putting this tournament back. This might be the last time I see it. If the trademark for AEW can get,
he gave them permission.
Huh?
He gave them permission to use it.
So there you go.
Because he on Twitter he said that he loves the tournament.
So we had the tournament. The participants in the tournament, they're going with kind of like the Worlds Collide feel to it. Where it's going to be NXT versus NXT UK, which I think is great. Right now the teams are NXT all represented in NXT UK. We have Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, Grizzled Young Veterans, and Gallus being Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, represented NXT. Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle, which I think is actually going to be a really awesome team. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, the NXT Tag Team Champions, and Kushida and a mystery partner, who we find out now is going to be Alex Shelley. So that's really cool. The brackets right now, Fabian Aichner, Marcel Bartella facing Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. We'll talk about that match in a future rundown because that match has already happened. Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle are facing Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Kushida and Alex Shelley are facing the Grizzled Young Veterans, and this match has already happened. We'll talk about it in the future rundown. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are facing Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. So the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic looks awesome this year. I love the tournament every year. I think it's a great tournament. So, and that's everything going on with NXT. I love NXT. A lot of people may hate me for saying this, but I've kind of enjoyed NXT a little bit more recently than AEW recently. But it's really not really fair to say, though, because NXT, because the Wednesday Night Wars have been weird, because NXT didn't have, because 1 week NXT only had a show, and then 1 week AEW really only had a show. Which I think is kind of weird, because I hate, the people that, are supporting one brand or one company or another in the Wednesday Night Wars. Like, the week that NXT had the UN Award show, they're like, oh, AEW destroyed NXT in the ratings. It's like, well, that's not really fair, because NXT didn't really have a show that week. And it's just really not fair, that people say you have to pick one. Why can't you just love both of them? Just move on. Sometimes I like NXT, sometimes I like AEW. Just right now, I think NXT is just doing everything right. Well, I think AEW are doing most things right, but we have some things that they're not doing right now, like the women's division. But some final news things we're gonna go over real quick. And this is where you can kind of start to jump in again, because this is actually pretty big news. That were a month late to the party. So recently we've had some releases, and there's been some talk about that people are going to get leave WWE. The ones that actually got released are the Ascension, Sin Cara, and Luke Harper, and I think that's it, right? Well, they're the only ones that got released recently.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
So obviously we're not going to see much from them right now because they have that 90-day no-compete clause. However, Sin Cara has been wrestling AAA events, or making appearances there anyways, and
he can make it. He actually lied, so.
And he actually used his name, but now he can't.
He wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
he was permission, but he wasn't.
Interested to see what happens with all these guys. The Ascension, I don't really know how much demand Actually, what do you, because you haven't talked for a bit. What do you see all these guys going? Once their no compete clause is up in March.
Luke Harper, AEW, Sin Cara probably stay in AAA.
Yeah.
And the Ascension, if they value them at AEW, maybe the NWA.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know for them.
I just don't. Yeah, that's
Matt Hardy, AEW.
That's the thing too. I don't really see like a high demand for the Ascension. Just because they're not really like as big of a deal. As like, Luke Harp. Like Luke Harp was definitely going to AEW. That's without a question.
Yeah.
I'd be stunned if he goes anywhere else. Like Sin Cara, I just don't really see the benefit of signing Sin Cara to AEW. I think it's just to stay in AAA. And if Lucha Underground, which I doubt it, but if it's gonna have another season, he would go to Lucha Underground. But I don't think
Lucha Underground's dead.
Yeah, it's pretty dead. Like all the top stars are gone, pretty much. And then yeah, Matt Hardy's a talk that's possibly going to leave WWE because he's had a lot of creative differences recently, and he said that the only reason he would resign if he gets creative freedom, which I don't think he's going to get. So I think Matt Hardy's contract it's up in, is it March or April?
That's March, I think.
So I think Matt Hardy could leave.
It's like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, Matt Hardy. I think could leave WWE. He's resurfaced his broken/woken gimmick on his YouTube series. And I think that's why he wants to leave, because I think he wants to do the broken gimmick again. Because I feel like he WWE kind of squashed it pretty much.
Yeah.
And he could do a lot of cool things. I think he could go to AEW, which I think would be, or Impact, since that's where like the broken gimmick got made. But I think AEW, I think would get would be cool.
Better fit.
He could lead the Dark Order, but I don't know if they're gonna. It's really tough though, because AEW is kind of already building up a higher power angle for the Dark Order. Are they gonna wait 2 months to reveal the higher power? Because that's kind of a long time to reveal it in a sense. Does he join up with Buddy and the Blade? But I don't really see like them fitted with Matt Hardy's broken gimmick. I feel like the Dark Order just fits better with it. But then again, they kind of want to treat the Dark Order seriously, and the broken gimmick's kind of like a meme character. So we'll have to wait and see. Jeff Hardy, has had his contract extended since he's been out with injury and personal issues, so we're not going to see him go anywhere anytime soon. I don't think it's very likely Jeff Hardy really goes anywhere, because it seems like WWE is going to help him get better. And I feel like WWE's always treated Jeff Hardy like as a pretty big star. They've been very good to Jeff Hardy, so I don't really know if Jeff Hardy would leave WWE. What about you? Do you see Jeff Hardy going anywhere? Do you see him sticking with WWE?
It depends. I don't know. Maybe he stays.
Yeah, because I could see him also wanting to, maybe be with his brother Matt and go to AEW too. Then there's the situation going on with the Sky Pirates. That I believe it's called Shine Wrestling, right?
Stardom
Wrestling is offering them some big money to return there. And it's very likely that they could. Kairi Sane, I could see like not really being happy in WWE because they really haven't done that much with her, and they've kind of like, I feel like she could do so much more as a single star than a tag team wrestler. So I could see her leaving WWE. I hear Io Shirai isn't very happy with NXT because of the pay, and I hear that she misses her boyfriend in Japan, so I could see Io Shirai leaving, which I think would kind of suck for NXT because she's like one of my favorite women athletes in NXT, and I feel like her heel character's really started to finally catch fire, so I think it would kind of suck. I could see a thing happening, maybe that she gets the NXT Women's title, but that's pretty interesting, though. Because it's the first we really hear someone leaving WWE that's not going to make the jump to AEW, that they would go to Autumn Wrestling.
It's interesting. I think that's everything. I think we covered everything.
And then there's a couple of other things. There's one more other thing. I mean, it's probably old news now, but Vince McMahon recently just got sued by a stockholder for using money from them to profit the XFL, and he's being like taken to court for it, which that's not good. Not good. Sign with the XFL about to start up fairly soon. So that's a development story that's been kind of going on recently.
Quiet recently.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. I mean, that's one thing I want to talk about real quick too. Like the XFL coming in, it could be an interesting time for the WWE because you question where Vince McMahon's focus is going to lie. Is it going to lie, on WWE? Is it going to rely on the XFL? Vince McMahon's like role in WWE could really change this year. Which could be a good thing because maybe the shows will get better because Vince won't really care what gets written really in it. But it's also a bad thing because now we have the technology of Skype and like cell phones and such, where Vince McMahon now can just change the show via just texting now and stuff. So, what's gonna happen with that? What about you? What do you think? What do you see Vince's role in WWE being now this year with the XFL kind of like, starting up?
The XFL is going to take a lot of his time. I think far more than people think.
I mean, I hope so. Like that could be a good thing. I kind of hope the XFL is a success in a sense.
It's better than the fucking Alliance of American Football.
Huh?
The Alliance of American Football was another football company that started up last year that failed miserably, and they ceased operation after like 5 weeks because they didn't have enough money. So maybe I hope that Vince has enough money and then this works and then that takes his attention away a little bit.
Yeah, because then, Vince McMahon would, it would allow Triple H and maybe other people to kind of finally improve.
Paul Heyman, a big one there, who's you can tell his influences on the storylines.
Yeah, but he'll have more influence, obviously, too.
He'll be running the show practically.
Yeah, so
you won't even need like Triple H to be there. You can have him just work with NXT.
Yeah, exactly.
He's more than capable. He's actually run a company by himself before.
Yeah, just don't trust him with the money. That's always the one joke we say.
Well, he's got the money backer though.
Yeah, so.
And Fox with the Fox money, with the USA Network money, and the Vince McMahon money.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think I've covered like. We could talk about the Lars Sullivan thing, but I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care about it either.
Yeah. We could talk about like engagements that's happened, but we already know they happened. We really don't need to discuss them. That's their lives. So
we covered everything.
So this is like the last thing you're really gonna see. Like when we do the rundown now, we're just gonna go right into the show reviews. The rundown's gonna be different now because now that I'm like gonna be watching SmackDown and Raw for the time being, we're gonna have to like work in how we get it edit in the rundown now and stuff. We're really gonna have to figure that out. So when it comes to like the main roster stuff, I think it's just gonna be like me and Chris in it, and then that's basically it because everyone else doesn't. And like Noah once in a while, but he's busy with like
when he's available.
Yeah. So our return date is being we're gonna I think I'm gonna return the rundown Tuesday. We're gonna review tonight's SmackDown 205 if they have an episode, Raw, AEW from last week, and NXT from last week. Huh?
That works for me.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said in the channel update video, there's like a lot of plans I have for this channel. We probably have to get to like back to the Retro Wrestling Review series, doing Chris's pick fairly soon. That's gonna be fun. And like I said, me watching the main roster, I don't really know how long it's gonna last. It could last all year. It could be off and on. We'll have to wait and see. But we're just gonna end off the video pretty much. I know this video took a long time, but this is what kind of sucks about WWE having so many shows. Is there anything you want to plug or promote before
in the description box?
Yeah, just check it out. Check out all the videos. I'll start to do like more and like say more plugs, you know,
Yeah.
as when we're not on talking as long. So, hey, I'm giving you practice because these are these are about along the rundown
Yeah.
they're gonna be. So, um, I I knew I mean this is why we waited so long to do this video because we knew it was gonna
Yeah.
be a long video. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. The only video you can really say to look forward to is basically the same video except with Impact Wrestling. So, um, that should be fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys.
All right.
Talk to you later. Wait, don't leave yet because I want to hit stop recording. All right,
Okay.
so